Guys, hey guys, hey guys. I should really, consider getting a start stream. I should really get a start screen or something. I would have used the old one I had, but that one was kind of made by Scammer. So I want one that's more reflective of Endemata, yeah. Anyway, how about I begin? The four sacred treasures. And the four zones. Alright now, first off, let us alright now, go over the alignments in the lore. Now, none of them are actually better or worse than the others. Oh, well, come on now. Alright, nose, please stop being stuffy, please. I don't know what's going on with that, sorry. Oh, come on. Come on, please stop running. Please, for the love of God, stop running. Not in vice or virtue. Basically, I know one of them's, called madness, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's evil or that, fantasy or reality are good either. After all, there are a lot of bad things. There are a lot of good. Alright, there are a lot of bad things that, do spawn from them, yeah. Besides, not. Alright now. And, also. The four alignments are as follows. Let's see. Hey, Jenny. Alright, the four alignments are as follows. There's reality. Alright, now fantasy, madness, and void. Alright, now void has no strengths against itself for the other types or the other alignments, but has no weaknesses to itself for them either. Reality beats fantasy. Reality has an advantage to fantasy. Alright, fantasy has. Alright, fantasy is supposed to have an advantage to against madness. Alright, I should probably go back and change 2 over here. Alright, now let me go. Whoop. Oh, come on now. Alright, now against. Alright, there we go. Hey, ad break. Sorry, my nose is running a little bit, sorry. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's a pollen or dust in the air, I don't know. Alright, thank you, yeah. Alright now, madness. Oh wait, and reality. And oh wait, I'm supposed to go and don't use madness. Madness has an advantage. Yeah, it is allergy season, yeah, you're right. Alright, now, madness has an advantage against reality. Now, how should I explain how these advantages work? You see, reality. Reality is like I guess more industrial or something. I guess, or it's more, or it should have an advantage. To get fantasy. Fantasy. Sometimes is used in healing healing arts. Kind of help people with madness or something like that. Then obviously madness has a negative effect on reality, yeah. One of them comes in to make us sniffle and sneeze indiscriminately, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as does Spring too. They both do the same thing. Reality wrote fantasy? I mean, I guess that makes sense, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Alright now. And there are 4 zones. Alright now. The zones were created from the human psyche, which is in a fractured and broken state due to the Box of Evils incidents. Yeah, the Box of Evils incident was basically there were some celestials that were led by this one, called the Muse of Darkness. Then the Muse of Darkness decided to come up with, kind of a plan to try and, blame humanity for, for opening the Box of Evils, which in their eyes they thought would, make humans sinful and unclean in the eyes of the goddess and would allow them to, basically commit genocide, basically. Yeah, but the goddess of creation was like, a bit smarter than that, and was like, nah, go pound sand, and pretty much demoted them, and exiled them and separated them from, from the celestial warriors and, cut them off from their aspects, basically. So yeah, they're basically like so basically they became mortal. They're still horrific eldritch beings, but their power is severely reduced, and they basically, are mortal now. which means they can basically be destroyed. But the goddess of creation basically said they were basically gonna get eaten by a spider. Which is kind of the start of what they kind of turned Arachne into, because they kind of forgot about the curse because they found it super laughable. And it turned out Arachne was ate most of them and killed most of them because she was kind of vengeful. Because Arachne, kind of was, was kind of discovering true arts and was kind of just a little bit proud of, her work. And, the gods, decided they were, super jelly of her and, wanted to suppress, human true arts because that was part of what they were trying to do at the time. And, basically the gods were like, no. And basically they kind of one of them held like her, that was known as Athena, held a rig contest, which, Arachne did win legitimately, but Athena cursed her anyway and basically spread fake news about her, basically spreading arrogance and blasphemy against the gods, which people did take very seriously at the time. And Arachne was basically turned into a monster, basically, and as she was eating as she was defeating most of the gods, she became the first Dark Lord, and that became a whole legacy. I will probably go over that some other time. I'll probably go over that some other times, yeah. Alright, however, the four zones are ruled by four princesses that are the children of the goddess of creation. Yeah, I did mention her, yeah. Yeah, the goddess of creation, she's like the avatar of basically the creator that exists in Earth R. Yeah, the creator exists in Earth R, and basically the goddess of creation is like, is like his special avatar inside of, Earth I. Yeah, and she's not the only one, and she is basically, quote unquote disposable and all that, but she's basically, very powerful too, yeah. She started off as a girl that was she started off as a magical girl that was basically a living drawing, and she kind of developed from there. Yeah. Yeah. She had the power to basically manipulate reality using tools from Earth R. And all the celestials were basically created through her to basically help her out with defeating Lilith and all that, since they were basically the goddess of creation was basically made as a response to Lilith, being made by Skrullr, which was the creator's younger brother. Yeah, basically the younger brother was like that spoiled golden sibling that you guys hear about in those Reddit stories. Real piece of work. Yeah. And he's the one that kind of created Lilith and all of them, yeah. Yeah, as well as Legion and the Great Evils, yeah. Yeah, and the Great Evils were sealed inside the Box of Evils, but basically the Muse of Darkness tricked humans into opening it, yeah, and that basically fractured human psyche and basically cursed them, yeah. And also brought darkness to the world, yeah. Yeah, and the four zones are basically kind of partly the results of that, and why they're all in a state of chaos, basically. Yeah, that right now. They're in a state. They're in a state of order and chaos and intermingling with each other. However, they are still cherished, and the goddess looks forward to healing them and all the beings contained in these zones and associated with them. Also, the 4 zones are the 4 original worlds born of the dream space. Alright, the dream space of the goddess of creation that became their own living worlds by which all worlds were born, even by human tulpomancy. Yeah, I gotta remember, human tulpomancy is like super duper powerful in the lore. Human tulpomancy can not only create things like Endemati and Limb of the Night and all that. It can also create like whole worlds, yeah, and all sorts of different creatures, yeah. It's basically the power of imagination, yeah. And basically the 4 zones were the original worlds, but every single world is basically like associated with each of them, and part of the greater. But they can still have the potential to basically make an infinite amount, in each of the 4 zones, basically. So yeah. And they obviously can cross over to each other, and beings from one zone, they're associated with one zone can be inside of another, yeah, basically. If I need to make that clear, yeah. Alright, now time to explain what the 4 zones are. Alright, now, yeah, where the first shattering, that's how all the Earth P worlds came to be. Oh no, not the shattering, yeah. That's probably related to the Box of Evils. No. Kind of a consequence of the celestial war with the celestial war between the gods of creation and Lilith, and obviously some of the celestials being traitors, obviously. Alright, now the 4 zones are called reality, delusion, dreams, and alright, reality, delusion, dreams. Oh yeah, I remember now. Nightmares, yeah, nightmares, yeah. The 4 zones are basically called reality, delusion, dreams, and nightmares, yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they're called, yeah. Each of them can have an infinite number of worlds inside of each zone that can cross over to each other and influence each other. And are linked, and each world inside is linked by a world canvas and their shadow copy, and their shadow copy connected to the original master copy made by the goddess. Alright, so about the world canvases, basically there's a master copies that are basically made by the goddess, and she basically uses human imagination to basically make all of them. And the shadow copies are basically the world canvases as well, but they're not connected. They're like copies of it. Sort of like how artwork has an original and has a whole bunch of prints and prints of it. Alright, hold on while I read Zoo's comment. Whoop. Now, the shattering was a different incident which Lilith opened a gate to the creator god of Earth P, which opened an opportunity for the end to invade, which did, and destroyed the world in an instant, and the world getting shattered, as did, the creative painter, hence by being an infinite infinite Earth P worlds and shards like that? Are you talking about Lilith P specifically? Okay. I got us using... Whoops. I'm sorry, I'm a little off right now. Alright, my hand was a little off there. Sorry. Alright, now, yeah, I'm using human imagination as inspiration for each of them to give them life and form. And the four zones are alright now. And each person and being is associated with the four zones, but can or be born in other zones. So basically, it's not all homogeneous, and it's not all homogeneous in them. Basically, it's like, I guess it's not all homogeneous in each of the zones. Basically, yeah. It does create a lot of conflict, though, yeah. But can also create beautiful things like yin, yeah. Alright, yeah. Alright, the four treasures. Whoops. Alright, now almost misspelled that. Yeah, Earth P. Alright, now Lilith P kind of went insane after she dug too deep and learned that there are infinite worlds and infinite gods, and that she was destined as a cog in a machine. So basically, Lilith P is a sort of like, Chronomon, like in Digimon Time Strangers, basically, yeah. Only it's possibly even, worse than, only she saw an even greater truth than he did. That's basically what you're saying, yeah. Wait, alright. To be a force of destruction as a counterbalance to maintain a greater power. The four treasures. Alright, the four treasures are tools of the goddess of creation that contain power from Earth and are considered the creator's tools made manifest in Earth Eye's reality. Oh yeah, alright now. They are the paintbrush of the paintbrush of fairy. The Holy Grail. Alright, now the Dream Mirror. Alright now, and the Vorpal Sword. Alright, yeah. Alright now, yeah. They each represents a minor arcana. And being alright now. Hold on, alright now, I'm sorry about that. Alright now, wands. Alright now. Paintbrush of fairy. Alright now, and... Alright now, sword. That would be the Vorpal sword. And coin would be the Dream Mirror. And let's see, alright, what's the final one again? Oh yeah, cup, yeah. Cup, that would be the Holy Grail. You tried to eat herself into oblivion by got snake by the end with the 6 others who made them truly eternal and ethereal, preventing them from dying and forcing them to go on to destroy worlds so it can consume them. Hence the tyrants of the end were created. That's not good. Whoops, I misspelled grail by putting in a C. Alright, now the paintbrush of fairy is how the world canvases were created and is infused with imagination, which which is the life, which is the power, which is the inner power, which is the inner power of talent that circulates. Whoops. That circulates through the psychic nerves linked to each person's talents, which gives them their all right, come on now, their true art. It also all right now. Lilith P, for as much of an antagonist as she is, which she 100% is, as she's trying to destroy the world and stop creation. But yeah, her whole situation, as you can imagine, sucks. So it kind of is similar to Chronomon, yeah. Alright now, funny enough, I just beat Time Strangers recently, yeah. Yeah, that's alright. That sounds like a good idea for a film now. So she's basically in a state of despair, but she's basically being forced to, being forced to operate as a force of destruction, basically, yeah. And she, doesn't want to do it, yeah. But she's basically forced to, by something even greater than she is, yeah. As the other tyrants here, their whole situation sucks. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. Alright, now the paintbrush and the fairy is what gave the 4 zones and each world inside of them life and form. Life and form on the world. Alright, now on the world canvases. On the world canvases and is the power that can create life through art, yeah. Basically, can create life through art, yeah, basically, yeah. Alright, alright now. The Vorpal Sword is the original medium by which all of them are derived. Alright, how do you spell derived again? Derived, alright, now, whoops. Alright, now, derived, there we go. Lilith P goes on a mission despite how much she hates it, because she believes by doing it she can make sure that no one would ever have the chance to do a great mistake she did in the first. To not end up in the same situation as she is in. Oh, okay, that's a bit different from Granamon, okay. Alright now. Is a tool alright now. The Vorpal Sword is a tool that can create law and order or bring oppression or destruction. That depending on whose hands each medium are in. Yeah, so basically mediums are basically how true art are basically sort of like White Mind Staff. And each of them are basically derived from Vorpal Sword, and they're basically a defense tool, and basically how people channel their true arts, yeah. And governs how people can channel their true arts through imagination to influence the world for good or for bad. Or for bad, it also for heroes or villains is their weapon that they use for defense and offense. For defense and offense, yeah, that basically is it. Yeah, each of the turns are going through a mission instructions about how sucky it is for different reasons relating to their own personal mistakes they made in the first. Oh no. Yeah, it sounds like they were a bunch of celestial beings that basically tried to do something that inevitably got screwed up by accident or something. Kind of. Alright now. Alright now, the Dream Mirror. Alright, the Dream Mirror. Is the mirror and gateway of the soul, which can access or allow access to the dream space of each person to be used for themselves or with help from others to basically either heal as intended or destroy and curse inner worlds by dark influences. Yeah, Lilith can kind of do that too, yeah. So that's kind of why her evil eye is so dangerous, yeah. The dream mirror is also what forms dream space and gave soul and psyche to each being in the known universe of Earth Eye. Alright, yeah. That's basically what it is. Like Izumi wants to repair the first and recreate the first to prevent her personal mistakes which contribute to the destruction of the first, and not be locked in Yomi for all eternity so she can be with her children. Yeah. Oh yeah, you mentioned. All right, I remember as Izumi a long time ago. Yeah, you kind of mentioned her before. Yeah, sounds like she kind of all right. Yeah, unfortunately, isn't Yomi like full of dark beings and cursed things? No, that's not good. All right, now and finally though. Holy Grail. Is a cup of union and community between the divine and each other, and can govern how they can work together to either create a paradise or a nightmare of a world. Alright, yeah. It also allows all his heroes and villains and all with true arts to use the power of friendship or combos to help each other to do great or heinous things, and basically rules over the force of cooperation and collaboration. Alright, whoops, I misspelled collaboration. Oh well, I guess that's okay. I don't care. I think the big objective on the heroes is keeping Lumina the hell away from identities and keeping Liffy from absolute hell away from True Arts. Yeah, we should probably keep the tyrants of the end away from True Arts. Again, can beings from your world even use True Arts? I mean, we kind of went over this before, and you said that identities were basically a unique power of your world, and True Arts were basically like the unique power of mine. But technically speaking, True Arts are a thing that basically every being in Earth High can basically have access to, even if they're basically a monster. So yeah. All right, yeah. Alright, now I went over 4 treasures, the 4 elements, and also alright now. And the 4 zones. Alright, now there we go. Alright, now nice. I should probably come up with something for 4 princesses later, but, you know, I don't really have a consistent theme for them yet. I don't really have a consistent theme. I was thinking about using the 4 great gods and the 4 beauties of nature together as well. Alright, now. I was also considering, you know, elements as well as seasons and directions. You know, because, you know, it's kind of on my mental diagram, you see, of the 4 zones. Alright, now. Basically, it just is if she saw how can I combine this with identities? Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, especially if she starts learning about, you know, the goddess of creation and also the sacred treasures and all that. That, you know, might not be good, you know, considering the power level that they have. I mean, alright now, it sounds like Lilith P might, you know, be connected with Celestials in her world, yeah? No, oh no. Alright, oh no. Does that mean Lilith P is probably as bad as, you know, the great evils or, you know, the traders of the goddess of creation, you know, and Earth High then? That's not good. Right now, I will try to come up with something about the 4 princesses, you know, some other time. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to do with them. Alright now, I guess Nori would be, you know, probably, you know, the one over the... Oh wait, which one should it be? Yeah, I think it should be the coin one, since, you know, that one's, you know, more linked to, you know, commerce and all that, you know, food is kind of super important. And probably Susanoo, and probably one that's, you know, more inspired by Susanoo would probably be the sword, probably be the Forble sword. So, alright now. I guess Susuyo Omi, the moon god, would probably be, you know, would probably be the, oh wait, isn't the dream mirror the coin? I guess it makes sense. And Amaterasu would probably be the paintbrush of fairy, yeah. Since, you know, she's like the mother of life or something, I guess. So, I guess, alright now. I also want to incorporate, the 4 beauties of nature. So it might make them a little bit different than, you know, what their inspiration will be. Alright, the end is probably on the level of God tier level evil threats. Uh-oh. That means that, you know, they could be probably as bad as, you know, Lilith or maybe even Scrawler himself. Oh no. That's, you know, pretty disastrous. You know, it's kind of scary in anybody's world, since Scrawler, you know, he is in prison in his own world, but, you know, just knowing that he's out there and, you know, he could come back and, you know, influence the world with, you know, the red pen. That basically, you know, spawned in Lilith and Legion and all them. You know, that's a bit scary, yeah. Alright, now. Alright, I will probably work on the 4 princesses some other time. Alright, now, for now, I think I will, you know, do this. Alright, now. Yeah, best keep Lumina Knight away from identities. Yeah, she'll definitely want to use them for something nefarious for sure, yeah. And, you know, that will obviously not be good. And that's obviously not good. Right now, time to, you know, save on those. And, you know, submit that. Right now, I have to be careful about DeviantArt because there's a lot of, you know, very particular art in DeviantArt that, you know, I probably can't show on, you know, Twitch or YouTube. Not gonna lie, yeah. Not gonna lie, and DeviantArt, even if you set it on, you know, the safe mode, you know, we'll probably still show it anyway. Not to mention, you know, there, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of also bad because, you know, yeah, but it's also kind of a good thing because, you know, DeviantArt pretty much allows anything. You know, including a whole bunch of AI slop. Which is kind of bad. Oh yeah, with the cosmic side of things, I guess Lilith P is easily more dangerous 1 year since she is a mad scientist of the two. Oh no, not the mad... Alright, mad scientist, no. It's like Dr. Blackfly. No. You know, of course, Dr. Blackfly, you know, obviously, you know, Dr. Blackfly, he's more into genetics, he's more into genetic splicing and also, robotics. Yeah, yeah. He did start off basically being the arms business and, basically making war machines that were basically sold by Captain Midas, before his accident happened, and, he discovered, hey, I can kind of gene splice people. Hey, I can do gene splicing, using by basically modifying my, teleportation device. Yeah, also, Dr. Blackfly kind of a little crazy, sort of like, the lizard, and the flies kind of take over his brain. Yeah, you gotta remember, his backstory is kind of similar to the Fly as well, and his, personality is a little like Dr. Connor, but not quite. I mean, he was still a corrupt man, back when he was just a normal human, but, he became kind of crazy and, bloodthirsty after that. I mean, how do you think Lilith discovered her whole horrible truth? After the Garden of incident, she had lived most of her life as a scientist to benefit the world and study cosmic before she went insane for that truth. What did she, what, oh no. wait, oh no, that's not good. Alright, now, let's do some random ideas since I also promised that too. Alright, now. For great grads that are princesses that are based on Nori Susano. Alright, Nori Susano. Alright now, how do you spell the moon god again? Right now, just right now, Japanese moon god. Alright, what was his name again? Right now, oh, whoops. Hey, now, get out of here. Get out of here now. Get out of here. Stop, giving me stuff I don't want. Right now, stop trying to implement AI and stuff like that. No. I don't want it. Right now, I think I got it right. Right now, Tsuyomi and Amaterasu. However, they are based on the four great elements. After they also great based on the four beauties of whoops. Now spell it right, please. Right now, the four beauties of nature too. Being bling, flower, winds, moon, and bird. Alright, yeah. Alright now. Alright, Anari. Anari has the. Alright now, Anari has the. Which one was it again? Let's see, yeah, he should have. Alright now, they should have. They should have, as a dream mirror. Dream mirror. Susano has the Vorpal sword. And he has the. Alright now, whoops. Alright, maybe. Alright now, I might as well start with Amaterasu, yeah. Give him whatever's left over, yeah. Right, whoops. There's the paintbrush. A fairy. And Tsuyomi has the. The Holy Grail. Alright now, yeah, alright now. Alright now, I was writing lore earlier, and I'm starting on random ideas. Alright, yeah, I'm kinda still in the mode where I was writing the lore, yeah. So these last two were basically based on lore. Basically, basically there's gonna be four princesses, they're kinda based on the four great gods, or like, on Japanese lore. Yeah, and Nari, Susano, Tsuyomi, and Amaterasu. Yeah, but they're also based on like the four beauties of nature, and that's not all they're based on, but so I'm trying to, give them an order, to basically, what they should have, yeah. And there are four sacred treasures, yeah, that are in the lore. that kind of got that kind of govern different things, and I was trying to give him that. All right, now it's time to go into more general random ideas. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, thank you for being here, Ugly. All right, Zilla. All right, yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Yeah. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, all right, now. Did you make it a bird because Yenny is being a sunbird? Wait, what bird? I mean, I guess I could do that with the version of Amaterasu that's in the lore. I mean, it's not technically accurate, but I guess we could But then again, they're supposed to be kind of based on them a little bit. But I guess we could kind of do that since since Japanese still has those four guardians. Yeah, they're a bit slightly different though. I mean, one of the four beauties of nature is a bird. Was a bird? Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, that is true. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. I guess Susanoo would probably be the wind one then. Susanoo would be the wind. Tsukuyomi would probably obviously be moon. Alright, that leaves an Ariwood flower, but that's a kind of perfect sense. And maybe like a harvest god or something. I guess it's just a funny coincidence, yeah. There are four great enemies of humanity. That are shadows of the there. Great enemies of humanity. Enemy as well. They're based on the four. Alright, they're based on the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Apocalypse a bit. They're based on oppression, tyranny, war. Alright, now. Alright, now they're based on. Alright, now they're based on oppression, tyranny, war, and death. Yeah, I mean they're all technically based on oppression, basically. Yeah. Trying to mind you, go over to Fox 8 getting flipped from being a demon into an angel. I think I'll let you handle that on your end, yeah. Yeah, I know why Yenny wanted to do that, okay? you just wanted it to be waifu material. Not gonna lie, you wanted it to be waifu material. You wanted it to be waifu material, yeah. Alright, there. There are also four. There are also 8. There are also. Alright, now. I think I should do something a little bit more general for now. I'm still kind of in the mood being on to right lore, yeah. Reindeer noise is a totally normal reindeer. Yeah, that reindeer is definitely totally normal. Just be careful if you don't. Alright, now. Alright, now the photorealistic reindeer. This reindeer is a vicious monster that was encountered in a seemingly serene forest and watched over its kids from a distance. But when adventurers come in and kill its children, thinking it will be easy XP and easy materials for them, it will strike and move like lightning. And it appears to be something out of this world due to appearing photorealistic. Photorealistic. Yeah, it's alright now. Is it wrong to create a waifu? I guess not. Alright, now the photorealistic reindeer, it's kind of inspired, have you guys ever played Etrian Odyssey? Yeah. Alright, basically there's a monster in it that's basically called a Ragelope. Yeah, it kind of has different names throughout, each of them. But basically one of the scenarios that the Ragelope is coming for is, it, appears in this one area that's like a glade that, has, their children that are, a little bit weaker. If you kill both of their children, the big Ragelope will appear and, will chase you around. And, it can obviously, be very dangerous and, basically TPK you if you're not careful. Or you're underleveled. That's why you should probably be careful of that. Yeah, I kind of found that out the hard way. I found that out the hard way, and I was like, wait a minute, these are little children. Uh-oh. And then it showed up, and I was like, oh shit, I better get out. I better get the heck out of here. Funny enough, when you first entered, there was always a guy that's like, oh, this area is, very easy and, very calm. There's, like, very weak monsters here, yeah. I guess the case area is checking on her mom since that incident. Oh, no. I mean, it's not specifically, the totally normal reindeer. But, it's, kind of a little different from that, yeah. Alright, now, a cursed shopping mall that is selling all sorts of cursed items that is run by a young owner who is secretly a Getty like clawed horrible monster, and it turns out he has a connection to the Krampus. And the store was basically made to sell stuff to the public made by the Krampus. Krampus to punish children on Christmas, basically. On Christmas, So the incident where a tiny bit of energy went when it went haywire and a totally normal reindeer into a photorealistic reindeer. Are we sure we're talking about the same thing? Right now, this scenario. Hey, you guys ever read R.L. Stine? You guys ever read R.L. Stine? Basically, there's one of his choose your own adventure books. It's about a curse shop. It's about a shopping mall that's kind of similar to this. Yeah, and it's kind of run by Reggie, and he kind of look. I kind of think he has a. I kind of think the design on the cover looks a little like Yeti, but it looks more like Beast from the X-Men. only purple, obviously. Yeah, I was thinking, maybe the Krampus would, sell stuff here. I know. I mean, I was just referencing our Twitter chat earlier. I know. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Anyway, did you know that one of the magical girls in dreams is actually based on a Christmas elf? All right. So Halliana. She was born when a young girl died on Christmas Eve due to selling matches for an abusive dad. Basically neglected her and cared more about money, though she froze to death. Was found by a magical girl Santa Claus. Yeah, did you mention, Santa Claus in the lore is a magical girl? Well, at least at least the current, Santa Claus is. Santa Claus is kind of a legacy in this world, yeah. Of course, one of the, legacies kind of went dark and, became the Krampus, yeah. And he was replaced by magical girl Santa. Oh, whoops. Alright, hold on for a bit. I need to stretch out for a little bit. Ow. Sorry, I am kind of alright now. And reincarnated in a holly tree. Into a Christmas elf. So basically, it's sort of like a bit like an isekai, I suppose. If you want to be kind of technical about it. It's kind of a bit like an isekai. Yeah, it's kind of an S guy if you want to be, very technical about it. I suppose you could say that. Alright. Definitely wonder how heroes of Dreamsville feel about discovering Earth Prime worlds and learning the whole deal about the whole deal with those identities. Maybe. All right, now can we learn, the power of identities as well? Granted, it's a little different from our true arts. I'm sure we should try. We should try to implement them as well. Yeah. All right, now what sort? All right, now what sort of monster should I make? Yeah, I know. There is a park run by Necrophobe, an evil necromancer, who was working with Dr. Blackfly to create a dinosaur park. Only they were secretly making they were secretly making cyborg zombie dinosaurs. Yeah, cyborg zombie dinosaurs. Cyborg zombie dinosaurs, yeah. To unleash upon the public. Umbrella style. Umbrella style. And pretend that they were totally released by accident. By accident. Yeah, we're just gonna pretend they were totally, released by accident. Yeah, we kind of made these, horrible things, and they kind of got out by accident. We're like, whoops. Yeah, it's sort of like, why Jurassic Park, stays around. Yeah, they definitely, play it off as like an accident, and, definitely not like, not like, people at Jurassic Park, had any reason to release them intentionally. Yeah, learn how to deal with and combat identity users given how similar. It would probably have potential to throw off any Dream Zero for at least first few encounters. I mean, wouldn't that also be true of some of the heroes in Earth B that have to deal with true arts users? All right. Necrophobe was an innocent man once, but they were accused of a crime they didn't commit and were executed. They were executed and due to a grudge and a necronomic ritual that some kids did for fun. He came back from the grave and sought revenge against the unjust world. Unjust world with an army of undead. Yeah, very much so. Both worlds would have to adapt to the differences of each world, I would imagine. Alright, let's see. How about I make a monster? How about I just straight up make a monster, yeah? Alright, Alright, now, false Titanifly. Alright, now, the false Titanifly, alright, now. This creature resembles an elf-like adult insect that has a magical staff with it, and resembles a royal regal being that looks a bit like Titania. There was an incident where she was confused by where she was confused with one of them, but the false Titanifly is a monster that eats corpses and kills people with hordes of man-eating monstrous insects and maggots. Maggots and uses rotten poison magic. Alright, yeah, it uses rotten poison magic, so you gotta be careful, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of, thinking of the false Titanifly because of Crystals, actually, yeah. Yeah, you remember those cocoons, that we were fighting, and the adult ones one side in the future, can become, and become sort of like, what I'm thinking of here? Yeah, alright now. Obviously, it's a little bit different, yeah. Oh yeah, the ones that are the coin flip. Alright, 50-50. Definitely gonna be good. Oh fuck, it's a more powerful one. Now, knowing my luck, that'll probably happen, so that's why I think it's safer to burn them. But there is a boss fight before when you have to save that one lady that got wrapped up. Because old Radless. Yeah, you have to fight both the adult one. You have to fight, the adult versions of both of them, like the past and the future, and that's where I kind of, ran to that, yeah. Alright now, anyway, how about, alright now, one last, alright now, should I got one last random idea, or do you like a whole bunch more, yeah. Alright, let's see. Alright now, alright. A crew of evil, spooky, scary skeleton pirates, but they're all dragon skeleton pirates. Uh-oh. They're all basically a crew of doomed undead dragonkin that fell under a curse when they were brutal raiders and pillagers due to all the crimes they committed, so a voodoo priest cursed them during one of their raids on a small island nation. Alright, yeah, there we go. One more. Alright, the Hammer of Justice, a flying sentient hammer that seeks out the smite sense, no matter how big or small. Oh no. Alright now. Do you mean, alright now, Hammer of Justice, do you mean Gearson Boom? No, Gearson Boom! Yeah. Oh no. Kind of appropriate that the guy that trained Undyne, has a theme very similar to Undyne's. Yeah, he was super excellent. Yeah, right. I left him a lot. He was awesome. Yeah, best turtle. All right. Now he's the best turtle. Since the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh no. A world in the internet zone of the media dimension. That is basically a horse server. Full of entities that are inspired by my classic creepypastas. And the things there resemble old ghost stories from all over the world. Yeah, there we go. No, I mean, but yes, a flying sentient magical hammer. Yeah. I mean, a flying sentient magical hammer would be very cool. I mean, what if it can do things like, half MP, like, you know, use magic hammer from, like, Final Fantasy, or, you know, do that thing like that one hammer, you know, Kami does, and, you know, shrink people? Oh, no. Alright, now... Alright, now, the Archfiend's Axe. This cursed axe... Alright, this cursed axe emanates... Alright, now, alright, whoops. It radiates an evil energy that will hurt and kill anyone aside. Now, hurt and kill anyone aside from its owner who tries to use it, especially against the forces of evil that it serves. It is said to have been wielded once by a mad tyrannical wizard who is the incarnation of the Demon King, known as known as Ganon. Alright now, yeah, that's obviously a Legend of Zelda reference. Okay, get out of here. Right now, that's obviously a Legend of... Alright, whoop. Hey, no. Alright, now, that's actually, you know, a Legend of Zelda reference. Yeah, you know, back in the day, there was a Choose Your Own Adventure book that, you know, was basically was made about, I think it was Link to the Past. Alright, now, in it, there was a choice in it, you know, where you could choose a sword or an axe, you know, to fight against Ganon. And, you know, basically the axe was actually, you know, Ganon's axe, yeah. So choosing it obviously led to the bad ending, yeah. You're supposed to choose a sword because it's the Master Sword, obviously. Wait, yeah. The Master Sword was around back then, yeah, right? Yeah, it was in Link to the Past, yeah. Yeah, I think wait, was the Master Sword in games before the Link to the Past? I don't remember, yeah. I haven't played Zelda 1 or, you know, Zelda 2. All I know about Zelda 2, okay, is that it doesn't play like any other Zelda, and also, you know, you fight Shadow Link, which is apparently very different from, you know, Dark Link, and you also beat him by getting in the corner and stabbing him in the crotch a whole bunch. You know, sort of like defeating the Joker, in the final fight, you know, in the Batman Animated Series, you know, video game for the SNES. The phrase around its life goals of bucking under dealing bonus damage against Horny. Oh no, not the magic sentient hammer. Shouldn't that be a bat then? Alright, now. The Lair of Dark Shuffle. Alright, resembles a sci-fi sports stadium with the Evil Arts logo outside of its inside art are evil cyborg brainwash sports themed villains that will try to defeat you in all sorts of ways with deadly death games to the death, and also a bunch of stuff that both pro sports and various sci-fi properties. Yeah, you know, alright, the reason why Dark Shovel's Lair is, you know, a sci-fi sports stadium is because, you know, Dark Shovel is totally not inspired by, you know, evil art, by Evil Arts, also known as EA. And you know EA has a whole bunch of sports games as well as sci-fi games under them, yeah. I mean, to be fair, alright, to be fair, you know, EA can occasionally make a good game that's not a predatory, you know, that's not, you know, super predatory every once in a while. But, they're mostly known for making super predatory sports games, yeah. And, you know, basically being the only game in town when it comes to that. And, yeah, here, have a totally normal reindeer plushie. Oh, it's super cute. Sure like you. Sure like you, and sure like all you guys. Yeah, and Ben and all of them, yeah. All of you are super cute, by the way. Yeah, and I don't want to hear anybody, you know, spreading the chip propaganda. I am not a Dorito. I am not a banana bat. I am not a bumblebee bat. And I am not small, not cute, not adorable, not centering, not anything like that. No. You guys are the ones that are like that, yeah. No. I am not a FUMO. No FUMO. No FUMO. In fact, I think Annie would, you know, make a better FUMO than I do. You're marketable. No, you can't turn me into a marketable plush. Alright, the strength arcane. Alright, the strength arcana celestial warrior. Resembles a flower made of joined together hands with a humanoid feminine entity in the center made of joined together hands. It is like this because it is based on unity and community, and how it can rise, and how people. Alright, now whoops, I misspelled people. People working together can overcome great challenges, which it hopes for each and every day, to overcome the world's misfortunes. Alright, yeah. I am not very marketable, no. Alright, now, elemental Lord Matter. This semi solid cube-like entity is capable of bending and morphing its shape into any state of physical matter, including ones between solid, liquid, and gas. It also uses these in combat as its true arts, and to change its form into something else to do different things too. Yeah, basically, alright, now, the Elemental Lords and the Celestial Warriors are kind of related, but they're kind of a little different, yeah. Yeah, that's it, alright, now. Alright, now, Matter is the Elemental Lord of the physical elements, yeah. Yeah, so Elemental Lord Matter is the Elemental Lord of, physical, which is an element in the lore. Yeah, the elements in the lore, yeah. Yeah, wait, alright now, yeah. Physical is one of the elements, yeah. Yeah, it's one of the 20 elements, yeah. Alright now, and the Strength Arcana one is one of the 22 Celestial Warriors, yeah. Although there is a reverse of, the Elemental Warriors, but those basically, kind of make up the traders of the Goddess of Creation, yeah. And also the more minor celestials are part of celestials as well, but they're different from 22 celestial warriors, yeah, and the Shaos as well. anyway, I think we're done for now, yeah. All right, I think we're done with all those. Whoops, come on now. All right, now come on now. Obviously, we don't use AI now. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, look here, look, listen, AI, definitely reminds me of, that one SpongeBob meme. You guys know the one I'm talking about? Right now, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Right now, yeah, of that one. Yeah, when SpongeBob got into that one competition, to make cheeseburgers against that one sea god that and the sea god was basically making 1,000 burgers, and they were like, yo, it's got to have all this quantity, so it's got to be good, right? But they all tasted like they all were basically slop. And SpongeBob went to all the trouble to make one Krabby Patty and make it really good, and it was absolutely delicious. So he managed to win in the end. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of, Arachne's story, because, SpongeBob won in that and, didn't suffer any horrible, consequences because of the god's ego. Which, I think is, yeah, that's basically how I feel about AI art. AI art obviously being the sea god. Yeah, if I'm going to be, 100% honest. Alright, now. Oh, wait, I should, alright, now. I will go over to Twitch real quick because, alright now. Alright, I will probably get like AI defenders being like, yeah, you can't say anything bad about it, but no, that's the truth. You know what I have to say is the truth. Right now, let me change scene. Right, let me change scene because I don't want to get copyright claimed by Twitch. I don't want to get copyright claimed on Twitch. I know some of the big names have a bit of an ego, yeah. Ooh. Alright, let's see. Who do we want to raid? Oh, hey, how about we do duel? Alright, I know, just to raid, yeah. Alright, now let me just close out the window. Alright, raid. Duel, alright. Duel leveling. Alright, now I think I got it right. Alright, let's raid duel leveling, yeah. Alright, now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you had plenty of fun. Remember to fly like bat and shine like the moon, for we are stuff dreams are made of, and thank you, Yenny, for, sticking with me for so long. I highly appreciate that. Alright, now, Moonbat raid. There we go. See you later. Goodbye.